If you've ever felt like romance K-dramas are starting to blend into each other, this list might completely change your mind. Because these stories are not just about falling in love, they're about complicated emotions, messy relationships, and situations that feel almost too real. And honestly, I think that's what makes a romance truly memorable. It's not always soft, it's not always perfect, and sometimes it even makes you uncomfortable in the best way possible. So today, we're diving into 5 romance dramas that explore love from angles we don't always see on screen. And I really want you to stay with me until the end, because I have a feeling at least one of these will hit you on a very personal level. But as we go through them, I want you to keep asking yourself one thing. Which of these stories feels the most real to you? You and everything else. There's something deeply captivating about a story that focuses on a relationship that isn't clearly defined as just love or just friendship, and you and everything else seems to live exactly in that gray area. We're looking at Eunjung and Sangyeon, 2 people who have been in each other's lives for so long that their connection goes beyond simple labels. And I think that's what makes this drama stand out immediately. It's not about the beginning of love. It's about what happens after years of shared history, when admiration slowly mixes with jealousy and affection starts to feel a little suffocating. Kim Go-eun is known for delivering very layered performances, and I feel like this role is going to let her explore emotions that are subtle but intense at the same time. What I personally find most interesting is how this drama might portray resentment, because that's something we don't often see honestly in romance. Love isn't always pure, and sometimes the people we care about the most are also the ones who hurt us the most. I can already imagine this drama sparking a lot of debates, especially about whether these 2 characters should even stay in each other's lives. So let me ask you this. Do you believe that a relationship filled with both love and jealousy can survive, or is that already a sign that something is broken beyond repair? 100 Memories. Now this one feels like stepping into a completely different world, and I mean that in the best way possible. 100 Memories takes us back to the 1980s, and there's something about that setting that automatically adds a layer of nostalgia and emotional warmth. But beyond the aesthetic, this drama is really about youth. Those fleeting moments when everything feels new, overwhelming, and unforgettable. Following 2 bus attendants, Go Young-rae and So Jung-hee, and their shared first love, the story taps into that bittersweet feeling of growing up. And I think what makes this kind of narrative so powerful is how relatable it is, even if we didn't live in that era. Everyone has that one memory, that one person, that one time in their life that they keep going back to. Kim Da-mi and Shin Yeon together already sound like a strong emotional core, and adding a shared love interest into the mix creates that classic but effective tension. But here's what I'm really curious about. Will this drama focus more on the romance or on the friendship between the 2 women? Because sometimes the most heartbreaking part of a love triangle isn't who gets the guy, but what happens to the friendship afterward. So I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think hurts more? Losing your first love or losing your best friend? A Graceful Liar. Okay, this one is on a completely different level in terms of intensity, and I feel like it's going to be one of those dramas that people either become obsessed with or completely overwhelmed by. A Graceful Liar revolves around deception, family power struggles, and a relationship that is anything but straightforward. The idea of a birth mother becoming a stepmother-in-law is already dramatic enough, but adding a battle of lies into the mix? That's chaos in the most addictive way. And since this is a long-format drama with over 100 episodes, you already know the story is going to take its time building tension, revealing secrets, and constantly shifting alliances. What I find fascinating here is how romance will be woven into such a toxic and competitive environment. Because let's be honest, love doesn't always grow in healthy spaces, and sometimes it's shaped by manipulation and survival. I personally think this drama will test viewers' patience, but also reward those who stick with it, especially if you enjoy complex characters who aren't entirely good or bad. But I have to ask, do you enjoy watching characters who lie and manipulate to get what they want, Or does that kind of story frustrate you too much to continue? Miss Incognito. Now this is where things start to get really interesting, because Miss Incognito blends romance with crime and identity in a way that feels both thrilling and emotionally grounded. We have Kim Young-ran, a bodyguard who enters a contract marriage with a terminally ill chaebol chairman, which already sounds like a setup full of tension and moral dilemmas. But what really adds depth is the fact that she has to live under a completely new identity for 3 months. And I think that's where the real story begins, not just in the romance, but in the question of who she really is underneath all these layers. Jeon Yo-bin is the kind of actress who can carry complex roles like this, and I feel like her performance is going to be key in making the audience believe in both the action and the emotional stakes. What I personally love about this kind of storyline is how it forces characters to confront themselves. When you're pretending to be someone else, you start to question what parts of you are real. And when romance develops in that situation, it becomes even more complicated. Are you falling in love as yourself or as the person you're pretending to be? That's such a fascinating conflict. So let me ask you, do you think love built on a lie can ever become real, or is it doomed from the start? Mission: the birthday invitation. And finally, we have something a little different, but surprisingly meaningful. Mission: the birthday invitation might only be a short drama, but sometimes shorter stories hit even harder because they don't waste time. The premise sounds simple: a working dad trying to get an invitation to a birthday party. But what makes it interesting is the emotional layer underneath. Running into a former subordinate, dealing with past connections, and trying to fulfill a small but important mission for his daughter. It all feels very grounded and relatable. I think this drama has the potential to explore a different kind of romance, one that's quieter and more mature. It's not about dramatic confessions or intense chemistry, but about timing, life choices, and the small moments that bring people back together. And honestly, I feel like we don't get enough of these kinds of stories. Not every romance needs to be grand to be meaningful. Sometimes it's the simple interactions that stay with you the longest. But I'm really curious about your perspective. Do you prefer short, impactful stories like this? Or do you feel more connected to longer dramas where you can fully immerse yourself in the characters' lives? At the end of the day, what makes this list so interesting is how each drama explores a completely different side of love. From complicated friendships and nostalgic first loves, to manipulative relationships, hidden identities, and quiet second chances. And I think that's what keeps us coming back to K-dramas. Not just the romance, but the way they reflect different parts of our own experiences. So now it's your turn. Which of these dramas are you most excited to watch? And which one do you think will leave the biggest emotional impact on you?